Now, good morning, students. The today's topic, which we are going to discuss, is attitude, measurement, and scales. Now, learning objectives of today's topic are attitude, measurement, and skills. Means you will able to understand the concept of attitude, measurement, and scales. Measurement, what is the concept of measurement? Scales, what are the different scales? Types of scales used in measurement means what are the different type of scales that are used in the measurement. Now, attitude may be defined as a degree of positive or negative effect. Means when we are defining the concept of attitude, we are saying the attitude is degree of positive. Means the positive thing, how much positive that thing, or negative effect, or the negative effect associated with some psychological object. Means that object has some positive association also, or the negative association also, and how much positive degree of association is with that particular psychological object is called the attitude. Now, attitude, cognitive component, a person belief of information about the object. How a person is belief, what person viewpoints about that particular object or information, that information or that related to that particular object. So, a person belief or information about the object is called the cognitive component. Evaluated statements or judgments considering objects, peoples, or events. And evaluating statements, when we are evaluating the statements of that particular topic or the object, or judgments related to taking a judgments related to that object, or considering objects, peoples, or event. And when we are considering, when related to the objects, some objects, people, some people, or the event, we are focusing or considering concerned about that things, and we have to take judgments on that. Effective component, the emotional or feeling about the product, such as like or dislike, good or bad. And effective component, when we are talking about the emotional or feelings, means about the emotions or the feelings about the product, such as like or dislike, whether you like or dislike that particular object or a thing, or good or bad, or you consider that subject or then object as a good or a bad subject. Behavioral component, an intention to behave in certain way towards someone or something. Behavioral component, an intention to behave, when we are have an intention, and that intention is to that we want to behave in a certain way, in a certain manner towards someone or something, when we are talking about in such a way that we have an intention to behave that in this manner, we have to behave in that particular manner towards someone, a person, or something, towards a thing. Now, measurement, assignments of number to objects. Now, assignment of number to objects, when we are giving something assignments to number of objects, or person to represent quantities of their attributes, or person to represent quantities, how much quantity is that of their attributes, different attributes that are there in that particular individual or a person. The assignment of number is done according to some rules. Now, that there, when we are measuring, and the assignments of a number on that particular object or a thing is done according to some rules or regulations. The attribute of person would include his income. And when we are talking about the different attributes which are related to a person, it includes the attribute of income, how much he is earning, preferences, what are the different preferences of that particular individual, whether it is liking that or disliking that, religion, what religion he is follow, social class, the social class is again the different attribute. Attitude, how is the attitude, the positive or the negative thing of a person related to an object or a person. Attributes of product would be speed, size, price, flavor, quantity, etc. And when we are talking about the attributes of product, means different traits related to a project product or a object, we will include speed, how the size of that product, price of that product, flavor of that product, and how much quantity of is that product is available. Now, scale, the ratio between the size of something and a representation of it. The ratio between the size of something, when we are talking about that, there is a ratio between an object and that object being size, how much of that size of that particular object, and a representation of it, and the representation of that object. A measuring instrument, instrument that can measure. For weighing, means to measure the weight, shows amount of mass, how much weight has that particular object. A topic which can create a great deal of confusion, a topic which can create a great deal of confusion in social and educational research. When we are doing a research or research in the field of education, then we will can say that that can create a great deal of confusion. Is that of type of scales used in measuring behavior? Is that type of scales means different type of scales can be used in measuring the behavior of that particular individuals or the persons. Now, attitude measurements and scales. The study and measurement of attitude is important when we are studying the concept. Measurement of attitude is very important. It is assumed that there is a relationship between attitude and behavior, and what we are saying that it is assuming that there is a strong relationship between attitude of person and behavior of that particular individual. As the behavior will change, the attitude will change. If a person has a positive attitude towards a thing, then his behavior will also be a positive towards that thing. For marketing decision, when we have to take a decision related to the marketing purpose, the attitude behavior relationship helps to study customer thinking and likes and dislikes. Now, how's the attitude of that individual towards that product or an object? In the same way, how the product has a relationship between how the people is behaving, or how's the person behavior towards that object or a person or a thing. So when the individual or the customer who is in the sales have the knowledge about the attitude of the people towards that product, the behavior of that individual towards that product, then we will this customer have the possibility that he will grow in that business, because the customer thinking and likes and dislikes are known by the marketing executive. And with the help of this, he can predict the future on the basis of the attitude and on the basis of the behavior, that we can predict the future, that whether that product will be used by many people or not, whether that product has a positive attitude towards the persons or not. Now, type of scales used in measurement. There are different type of scales that we can use in measurement. Scales used to market for market research have been divided into four parts. When we are doing a research part in the market, or when we are doing a research in education also, then also there are four types of scales used in measurement, and these are nominal scale, ordinal scale, interval scale, and the ratio scale. Now, first we will discuss about a nominal scale. Now, what do you mean by a nominal scale? A nominal scale is a measurement scale, means it's a type of a measurement scale which is helpful in measuring something. In which numbers serve as, means in nominal we give some tags to the numbers or labels only to identify or classify an object, means for classification, for making an identification of any objects or any suitable product, we just give them some tags or labels. uh, this measurement normally deals only with non-numeric quantitative, and when we are talking about the nominal scale, in that measurement is only deal with the non-numerical, means quantitative. We are not focusing on the qualitative variables. Call it quantitative numerical values, or where numbers have no values, or where there is no value of numbers. A nominal scale is the least precise method of quantification. Means least precise method has been used when we want to make the measurement on that, then the nominal scales are used. A nominal scales describe differences between things. Means we can make a difference with the help of a nominal scale, differences between things, between different objects, by assigning them to categories and by assigning them to different categories. For example, such as professors, associate professors, and assistant professors, instructors. What we are doing, we are making a difference between things, and that differences are made on the basis of the labels or tags given to them. We have given the tags to professors, associate professors, assistant professors, instructor, teachers, and on these basis of differences, we are making a difference on the basis of their categorization. We are categorizing all these things into different categories or by labeling them. This measurement normally deals with non numeric variables, or where numbers have no value. Numbers are used to label person, events, or objects. Means we are labeling. For example, we have labeled as some people as assistant professor, associate professors, or the professors. It is least powerful level of measurement. It is the least powerful method of measuring something. It shows difference between things, assigning them into categories. Means when we are using the nominal scale, we are able to categorize them into different categories, and that different categories can be, for example, we are categorizing faculty members of a college into different categories by labeling them as professors, associate professors, or the assistant professor. It is the counted data that it can be counted. Statistics use mode and coefficient. Means when we are using, when where we can apply the nominal scale, that nominal scale can be applied in the statistics, where we have to use the mode and the coefficient. Now, examples of nominal scale. Players in a football team. Means we are labeling the players in the football team by numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. Means a categorization is there. Colors of traffic light. Again, difference has been made on the basis of the categorization of the color. Gender, female and male. Means again, a categorization has been made. We are classifying the differences on the basis of male and female. Scale zone A, Islamabad. Sale zone B, Rawalpindi. Now again, the sales zones are A, B, and C are the categorization of the different states on the basis of which categorization or the nominal scale has been done. Drink A equals to Pepsi Cola, drink B 7 Up, drink C Mirinda. Now again, we are making the categorization by labeling the drinks in a categorization, and the categorization will be done on A, B, C. Now, ordinal scale. Now, in ordinal scale, when we have to arrange the objects, products in a particular order. An ordinal scale is one that arrange objects or alternatives according to their magnitude. Means we are arranging the objects or the alternatives that are available to a product related to an ordinal scale. Objects are ranked in order with regard to some common variables. Now, how you will give the order, and that order is to be ranked in some common variable. For example, I am giving an order for the class number of students that are present in the class on the basis of the common variable, and the common variable is their performances. It tells us whether an event has more or less characteristics than other, and it tells us, now what tells us, that variable tells us whether an event has more or less characteristics than other, how much characteristics are available in that particular event or an object. Sometimes it is possible to indicate not all the things, that things differ in how much manner, but that they differ in amount or degree. Sorry. It tells us whether an event has more or less of characteristics than other. Now what it means, sometimes it is possible to indicate not only that things differ, but that they differ in a amount or degree. Means that things differ, that these two things are different from each other, but in the ordinal scales we will able to identify that how much that difference or amount is there. Numbers indicate the relative position of objects. Now number the orders 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The numbers indicate the relative position of objects, that this is the position of object. Means the first position will indicate that number indicate the relative position of that object, but not the magnitude of difference. Not the magnitude of difference means how much they are differ. Statistics use median, percentile, rank, order, correlation. Means when we are talking about the ordinal scale, the statistics that has been used for that is the median, percentile, rank, order, or the correlation. Now examples are career opportunities, that moderate, good, or excellent. Means here we are saying that we are not saying that how much difference is there, but they are differ in amount or degree. Means some professions or the some careers are the excellent one, some are good, or some are moderate. How much they are differ, the amount they are different, we are not focusing on that. Investment climate, bad, inadequate, fair, good, very good. Now what is that, we are focusing on the investment climate, how much that climate is that. Again we are not only that things differ, how much that differs, but the amount or the degree of differences between the investment climate, we are discussing that. Merit, A grade, B grade, C grade, and the D grade. Now again the differences is amount on the basis of the degree or amount of performances. Monthly income less than 5,000, number of consumers 20, 5,001 to 8,030, 8,001 to 11,025, 11,001 to 13,020, 13,001 and above 12. So total 107 consumers are there. Now, interval scale. Now, what is an interval scale? An interval scale is based on equal units of measurement, indicates how much of a given characteristic is present. Means the interval scale is uh, giving us the information that how much of a given characteristic is present in that particular object or a product. More powerful than ordinal and nominal scale, means the measurement done by the interval scale has more power, more relevancy than the ordinal and nominal scale. Object is measured on a continuum, means objective objects are measured in a continuous process. Arbitrary zero point. Now what is that arbitrary zero point? That not a complete absence of the variable. We are not talking about that there is no any characteristics or available variables are there. We are saying that something is there. We are not talking about that there is no complete absence of the variable, means something is there. Difference between objects can be compared, means difference between different objects can be compared on the basis of the interval scale. Interval scales allow comparison of the differences of magnitude. Magnitude example, attitude, how much attitude is present in that particular objects or the situations. Allows comparison of the differences of magnitude, but do not allow determination of the actual strength of the magnitude. But do not allow determination how much determine of the actual strength of the magnitude that is present in the particular object or the scale or the product. That statistics use is equal mean, standard deviation, average deviation, product movement correlation, t-test and f-test. Now in these tests, mean, standard deviations, average, when we want to calculate the statistics using mean, standard deviation, average deviation, product movement correlation, t-test and f-test, we can use and we can go for the interval scales. The first thing that is related to the interval scale is that interval scales decides represent our decided advantages over nominal and ordinal scale because it indicate the relative amount of a trait or characteristics, means how much that trait or characteristic is present in that particular object or product is related to the interval scale. Related amount of a trait or characteristics, its primary limitation is the lack of true zero. True zero means the arbitrary 0 point, means not a complete absence of the variable. So we are saying that interval scales are using the difference in amount of the characteristics possessed by a person with scores of 90 and 91 is assumed to be equivalent, so that between person with scores of 60 and 61. Now the examples of uh, interval scale is related to temperatures and attitude. Please state your opinion on national health insurance on the scale below. Now these are what you have to these are the items that is interesting, simple, uncaring and useful. These are the items, and on these items you have to give your opinion, you have to give your attitude, and you have to give your attitude into five categorization. Five categories are there: very much, somewhat, neither, somewhat, and very much. Means very much you are interested in boxing, simple or complex, unclear, clearly, useful, useless. Means you have to rate the national health policy on the basis of their attitudes, and you are measuring, or the scales for which to measure your attitudes are very much, somewhat, neither. Very much, yes, I am very interested in the national health insurance, when you have the opinion of that. Somewhat, when you have the attitude that yes, I somewhat likes the national health insurance. Neither, it means you do not like the national health insurance. So what you are doing, you are showing your attitudes on the basis of these uh, concepts or the areas. Now ratio scale, now this is the last scale of the ratio scale. Now what do you mean by a ratio scale? A ratio scale is related to a ratio scale has the equal interval proportions of an interval scales but has two additional features. Now the first additional feature is that the ratio scale has a true zero value. Now what is that? Means there is no total absence of the variable. Means that variable has something, and which you are measuring, that variable has something, and that means the true zero measurement. And the second feature of ratio scale is that the numericals of the ratio scale have the qualities of real number and can be added, subtracted, multiplied and divided and expressed in ratio relationship. And these are the two features that is making ratio scale as the most useful scale. Most powerful measurement means when we are applying the ratio scale, we are saying that we are using the most powerful measurement technique. It has an absolute or true zero measurement. Now, when we are talking about the interval scale, we are saying that it has an arbitrary measurement value, means there is no absence of total absence there is an absence of variables when you are measuring through the interval scale. But when we are talking about the ratio scale, it have an absolute or true zero measurement. There is a total absence of the variables you are measuring. When you are talking about the ratio scale, there is total absence of the variables that you are measuring. But when you are going for the interval scale, it has the arbitrary level, means there is some presence of variables that you are measuring, and that is the difference that has been separating ratio scale and an interval scale. Interval scale have uh, with fixed 0 point means there is no total absence of the variable that we are measuring. Possible to say how many times greater or smaller one object is than other. Possible with the help of the ratio scale, we can have the information how many times greater or smaller one object is than other, how much great or smaller is one object in comparison to the other object that we are measuring. Comparison of absolute magnitude is possible when we are using the ratio scale. It is possible to compare two things or two objects with the help of the absolute magnitude when we are using the ratio scale. Now, this statistics that has been used for the ratio scale is geometric mean, means you can use that data. Ratio scale when you are using the geometric means, harmonic means, coefficient of variations. These are the different ratio scale or the statistics that can be used when you are using the ratio scales. Now, the examples related to the ratio scales are income, and on the basis of that, distance travel from home to workplace is again a ratio scale. Height, weight, density is again the ratio scale. Market share 1 million in 2002 and 1.5 million in 2003. How the market share of that particular object or a product has been increased from 2002 to 2003. Now, today we have discussed about the different scales of measurement, nominal, ordinal, ratio, interval, and on the basis of today's topic, you can refer these references for further study. Now, let us discuss some MCQs based on today's topic, as MCQs are the best tool to measure the learning outcomes of the learner. The first one is dash may be defined as degree of positive or negative effect associated with some psychological object. Now, what has been that? Now, the options are attitude, B aptitude, C achievement, or it's D entrance. Now, what should be the correct answer? And from the given choices, you have to say, and the correct answer is attitude, means option A, that attitude may be defined, means when we have to define or explain the meaning of attitude, we can say an attitude is that degree of positive or negative effect, means how much positive or negative effect associated with some psychological object which is related to that particular object. Component of a Pearson belief or information about the object. Dash component of a person's belief, when we are talking about what is that thing which is related with person belief, belief or information, or the information which he has about that particular object. Now the options are A cognitive, B effective, C behavioral, or D psychomotor. These are the options, and on the basis of the options, you have to select the correct one. And the correct one is option A, that is cognitive. So, cognitive component of measurement is that which is related to person belief of information about a particular object. Now the third one, dash component, the emotional or feeling about the product. When we are talking about a component and which is related with the emotions of something or feelings of one person, emotions or feeling of one person about the product, such as like or dislike, means you will like that product or you are disliking that product. You think that product is good or that product is bad, and options are A cognitive, B effective, C behavioral, or D psychomotor. These are the options, and you have to select the correct answer on the basis of the given choices. And the correct answer is option B, that is effective component. Means effective component deals with the emotions or feeling of a person with the product which he or she is using, and on such as that he may like that product or he may dislike the product. Now the option 4, question 4 dash component and intention to behave in a certain way towards someone or something. Dash component and intention to behave means it's an intention of a person that you are behaving in a certain way towards someone, means toward a person, or something towards an object. Options are A cognitive, B effective, or C behavioral, or it's D psychomotor. So the correct answer is option C, that is a behavioral component which shows an intention of a person to behave in a certain way towards a person or a object or a thing. Fifth one, dash of numbers to object or person to represent quantities of their attributes. Now options are assignment, B questions, C assessment, or it's D answer. So the correct answer is assignment. That assignments of number of to objects you are giving to a number of objects or things or person to individual to represent quantities of their attributes. Quantities, how much quantity is there in that particular attribute or a trait. Now the sixth one, a dash instrument for weighing shows amount of mass. What do you call that instrument which is used for measuring and shows amount of mass present in that particular object or a thing? Now the options are A measuring, B assessing, C evaluating, or it's D, none of the above given choices. So what is that instrument? That, so we are saying that a measuring instrument is there for weighing shows amount of mass in that particular object or a product. Now the seventh one is dash scale is the least powerful level of measurement. What is the least powerful level of measurement among the four scales that are present? Now, the first one is A nominal scale, B ordinal scale, C interval scale, or it's D ratio scale. So you have to select the correct answer, and the correct answer is the nominal scale. Means the nominal scale is the least powerful level of measurement. Now the eighth one, and dash scale is one that arranges objects or alternatives according to their magnitude. Now, which scale is making an arrangements of objects, of different objects or alternatives that are available according to their magnitude? How much of that characteristic is present in that particular object or a product? Now, the options are A nominal, B ordinal, C interval, or its D ratio. Now which scale is that? That is arrange objects or alternates according to their magnitude. Now the correct answer is option B, that is ordinal. Means an ordinal scale is that which arrange objects or alternates according to their magnitude. Now the ninth one, dash scales allow comparison of the differences of magnitude. Means by using that particular scale we are using, and that scale is helping us in making a comparison of the differences of magnitude. Magnitude, the values or the attitudes related to that particular subject or the object. Scales allow comparison of the differences of magnitude but do not allow determination of the actual strength of the magnitude. But it's not focusing allow but not uh, focusing or allowing determination of the actual strength of the magnitude that are present. Now the options are A nominal, B ordinal, C interval, or its D ratio. Which scale is used to making a comparison of the differences of magnitude? The correct answer is option C, that is interval. So interval scale is that scale that allows comparison of the differences of the magnitude but do not also allow determinations of the actual strength of the magnitude. Now, the 10th one, dash scales have an absolute or two zero measurement interval scale with fixed 0 point. Now, what is that scale which we call which has an absolute or true zero measurement? When we are talking about the absolute or true zero measurement, we are saying that that variable has no characteristics present. Interval scale with the fixed 0 point. Now, the options are A nominal, B ordinal, C interval, or its D ratio. So what is that scale? Now the students, you have to select the correct answer on the basis of the choice, and the correct answer is option D, that is a ratio scale have an absolute or two zero measurement. Now, thank you, students. With this particular narration, you have understood the different types of measurement and the classifications of measurement and different types of scales that are present. And we have discussed about the nominal scale, we have talked about the ratio scale, interval scale. Ordinal scale. When then we have talked about the nominal scales, we are saying that nominal scales are used in the scales where we are just labeling them or tagging them. We are just give a label or a tag related to that particular object. For example, honesty is a, your name is also a tag or a label, that is called a nominal scale. Then we talk about the ordinal scale when we are measuring the magnitudes of particular object. We are saying that we are using the ordinal scale, and on the basis of that ordinal scale we are uh, giving a order to a particular things or an objects in 1 2 3 4 5, and we are also giving orders ordinal scale in you giving the differentiating the students on the basis of their performances, on the basis of their grades A B C D or 1 2 3 4. That is the ordinal scale that we are using giving in for the order. Then we have talked about the interval scale. In the interval scales, we are saying that they are the arbitrary. Zero value means there is no absence, total absence of that variable that we have to measure. So that is an interval scale. And in the end, we have discussed about the ratio scale, that the ratio scales are those that are measured used for the measurement in a larger manner, in a larger precisely manner. And that ratio scale is used where there is no absolute presence of characteristics in that, is no point of characteristics are there in that. So that is being used very widely. The ratios or the ratio scales has been very widely used in comparison to nominal, ordinal, and the interval scales. So in the coming class, we will try to discuss about the different aspects of assessment of learning. For this, thank you so much.